received these tools from Gladzy, and these are glass tools made in Czech Republic. So there are two types of these manicure sticks. I've only used this one. So as you can see, the angle of this is a little bit sharper, and this is also a little bit sharper. Can you see this? It's quite pointy. This side is textured and this side is textured. So I'm going to show you how to use these tools today. I'm going to try this one. Seems a little bit thinner, but maybe not. So, and now this angle is a little bit different. So it's not as sharp, and then this end is not as sharp as well, which actually is a pretty good idea. So my nails look dry because this is how I need them for the purpose of this video. First of all, I'm going to use the one that I'm the most comfortable with, that I've used the most, and I'm going to show you what to do. The most important thing is to know what we're trying to remove. So what we're trying to remove is we try to remove a cuticle. But what is cuticle? Cuticle is a bunch of dead skin cells that are produced underneath this skin fold. So what people call cuticle is actually a skin fold. So this is the proximal nail fold, the technical term, and these are lateral folds. Okay, so this, if this is dry, cracked, I don't know if you pick at it or it's bleeding because you pick at it, it's not a cuticle. So you're picking the skin around the nails. So really, this is the skin around the nails, nail folds, or skin around the nails. What we're trying to do is we're trying to remove a cuticle, which is normally sitting between this fold and the nail. And what does it do? It creates a seal so nothing can enter here underneath, because this area is really, really important. This underneath is where the matrix is. So that's where the root of the nail is. And the white here, the lunula, is actually a visible part of the matrix. Considering that this is a very sensitive area and very important area, we have to be very, very gentle. So what I recommend doing, if this area is a complete mess for you, then start taking care of the skin around your nails and start nudging it. So nudge it. See how I'm holding it? I'm holding it, I prefer to hold it sideways. I don't hold it this way because I think this way you can, I don't know, go too far. You don't want to be going in between this. So I like doing this, and I'm going to do this nail. So when you do this on the regular basis, and I would suggest doing this every couple of days, the skin is going to shrink because it's not stuck to the nail. So if that skin is, people say overgrown, it's not overgrown, it's actually stretched, because if this skin, the skin fold, is stuck to the nail plate as it's growing, it's dragging the skin with it. So if that skin is extended, don't worry about it, just nudge it gently. You don't have to separate it all the way, just nudge it gently. And what I like about this tool is that it has a perfect sharpness. So as you can see, I'm placing it on the nail. So this side doesn't really have here underneath a lot of texture, so you're not gonna scratch your nail, and I'm almost doing it kind of sideways, as you can see. So I'm just nudging this, and again, if you do this weekly, there's barely anything to do, and you're just practicing this manicuring technique, and you will become better and better at this. Okay, so now it looks awful, but trust me, once this is done, it's not going to look awful. So I'm going to use the other one and see how I like it. So I think we're gonna hold it this way. So what I like doing is I like to keep my hand balanced. I don't do this in the air, although I guess you could. I like to be very, very close and do it this way. Actually works really well. So now I'm going to hold it this way and sideways. Just nudge it. So right now you can't see cuticle, but I'll show you where it is. In order to take care of the skin, I recommend using good skin oil, using emollient creams on a regular basis, ideally after each time you wash your hands, and then you won't have problems. Let's use this side, the less sharp part, and I'm going to show you where the cuticle is. So the cuticle is dead skin cells that are on the nail plate, as you can see here. Now, you can do this dry, but I find the biggest issue that people are having when they are not very comfortable with what they're doing, they just don't know where the skin ends and the nail starts. And very often I've heard that people do a lot of damage by creating these lines in the nail because they just keep, you know, scratching the nail or scratching the cuticle, and then eventually you will scratch the nail as well. So for this purpose, I don't use this end. For that reason, I don't use this end as much. So I prefer to use instead a cuticle remover. Apply the cuticle remover on the nail plate, move it around. Because again, we're not applying it here. This is not a cuticle. Little drop. So the cuticle removers, normally, they are very alkaline and they break down the skin. And the skin structure is slightly different, obviously, than the nail. So the product is going to soften the skin, but it's not going to soften the nail unless you leave it on for too long. So always make sure that you read the instructions on how these products should be used and just follow them. So this product in particular, I am supposed to leave on the nail for about a minute. So after a minute, very important step, make sure that you rinse your hands so that you can actually wash your hands, or you can rinse the hand that you're working on. I prefer to do one hand at a time because it's a little bit difficult to work with hands that are both, you know, wet and messy from the cuticle remover. So I'm going to leave it on for 1 minute and then I'll be right back. Okay, I rinsed my hands and now I just dabbed off the excess of water. And the hands don't have to be like super dry. It's okay actually if there is some moisture in the skin. So now I used to use this side to remove the cuticle, but now I think it's a little bit better to use this side because you are less likely to overdo it. So hopefully, as you can see, I'm barely putting pressure. I'm just staying on the nail and I'm doing these little circles. This is like the most satisfying thing ever. Can you see? So this is what I do. I don't use this part unless there is a piece that I can't get with this side. I find, I mean, I can use both sides, but sometimes I think it's safer, especially if you are new, to use this side. So again, I'm staying on the nail, doing these little circles. Wipe it off. So the sharpness of this edge is really, really good. It's sharp, but it's not too sharp. Again, I mean, it's effective, obviously, so you have to make sure you're not putting excessive pressure. See how I'm balancing my pinky? Doing it in the air would be more difficult. You're more likely to kind of stab yourself because you don't have control over this tool. Okay, little circles. See how I'm using this? I'm using the side of it. So normally, I mean, we all have sometimes little stubborn sides. So this would be my stubborn area. So all I'm going to do is take this little tool, make sure that it's all nice and clean. Now these are obviously glass, so they can break, and they break actually very easily. So make sure that you just run it under warm water with a soft brush to clean. Always work over a table. Don't work over a towel. Don't work over hard surface, because if you hit the tool, it's going to break. And you know what? This is it. This side is done. So this area sometimes gets a little stubborn as well. So I'm going to very gently use this side to clean it perfectly, and that's it. Now I'm going to the other side with the other tool. And in the meantime, I'm going to just show you, after the manicure, I just put a drop of oil on each nail. Normally, I don't use this much oil, but after a manicure, I like to give myself a little treat and just use a little bit more oil. And I'm going to show you how the skin looks in reality. Because you know what? When the skin is dry, it looks much worse than it does look in reality. So don't judge the skin until you put oil on. You can wipe the excess off, and here it is. So it's absolutely normal to have a bit of a different looking skin around the nail. So this is the edge of the proximal nail fold, and this edge is a little keratinized, so it's a little bit tougher. Although if you take care of that skin is going to be very nice, elastic, and beautiful. So but it does look sometimes a little bit different, which makes people think this is a cuticle, but this is not a cuticle. This is just the edge of the proximal nail fold, or it's called keratinized edge of the proximal nail fold. So it just has a little bit more keratin. And you know, you can think of it as a little bumper. So this area is sometimes a little bit tougher because it's there to protect the nail underneath. So the more you take care of the skin, the more gentle you are, it's going to become softer and more beautiful. Okay, on the other hand, so I rinsed it really well. Make sure that you do that because it's very, very important. Now, I'm going to try to hold it in a way. It's always a little bit more difficult to work with your other hand. So this is a little bit more difficult, but it's good. Again, be very, very gentle. And, you know, less is more. See how the nail looks after your first manicure? And it's better to underdo it than overdo it. You know, I'll be honest with you. I think I prefer this one from the angle. And I know you can use this side, but I'm just afraid that, see, this can be done. But the thing is, you don't want to be jamming this sharp part underneath your nail fold, not underneath the cuticle, but underneath the nail fold. You can do it this way, but you have to be extremely careful. And you can do this like a windshield wiper. So you see? It's like magic. You didn't think anything was there, but it's there. So I'm going to be, again, careful, and I'm going to try this side first. Let's see if I can do it this way to show you guys how this works. Just trying to find different angles. I mean, it's different when I'm working on clients, and it's different when I'm working on myself. So I would definitely try to start with this side and do as much as I can with this side, and then whatever I can't get off with this side. This side always gets a little bit more calloused because I'm using this finger a lot. Because when I'm doing nails, obviously, you know, brushes, and I'm holding things in this hand. So I'm staying on the nail, making these little circles. And this is how I do it. You might find a different way of working. I don't think there is a right and wrong way of working, as long as you're not hurting yourself and you're not hurting the skin around the nails and you're not hurting the nail. We all have our techniques. And as I'm working, I'm developing different techniques. So everything changes, and you know, if you watch another video, you'll see me using different technique, and then I change the technique once in a while, because I love to hear your feedback, guys. So I might change something based on your feedback. And because I've heard that this part you guys had a lot of issues with the scratching of your nails a little bit too much, I started using this a little bit more carefully, or not using it as much, basically. So once everything is done here, then you can just go and just make sure everything is nice and clean. So with this tool, I would recommend using it in like a windshield wiper motion, side to side. Oil makes everything better. If your nails are driving you crazy, just apply some oil. And we are done. Please let me know how you like this technique. Please let me know if you've tried it, and please let me know if you've tried one of these tools and which one you prefer. I'm very, very curious. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.